What's up YouTube? I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, competitive games from tabletop to video games, and today we are reviewing the Bandai's Imperialdramon Paladin mode. Now the reason for this is because one thing that I had to do tons of research just to find one simple question, and that is, can the Paladin mode transform into the Dragon mode? And the answer is, yes it can. So the Imperialdramon Paladin mode actually comes with extra pieces because it's actually the exact same mold, just with different color scheme and also the extra pieces for the sword and even different wings, but it just doesn't have instructions on how to transform it. So I asked one of my friends that actually has the Imperialdramon Dragon mode to send me the pages so I could actually transform it. So if you guys have this model or is planning of getting it and you would like to transform it, I actually posted in my YouTube community and also my Instagram VaughnGear of the instructions so you are able to actually transform it yourself. Now the market price for this model is about $70, which is not too extreme, but the issue is that most places that have it for around that price range is very limited. So this model might actually increase in price because all the other prices that I have seen are a lot higher. Now, before we begin, friendly reminder as always to like and subscribe because it does help the channel a lot and I do really appreciate it. So with that being said, let's get started on the review. And here is Imperialdramon Paladin mode in his unofficial Dragon mode. Now, like I said previously, these are all spare parts from the model kit because it's the exact same mold as the previous Imperialdramon Dragon mold. And like I said previously, I put the instructions on my Instagram VaughnGear and also in my YouTube community page as well. So if you actually want to know how to transform it in this specific mode, you could definitely check that out, and I show all the instruction on doing so. So let's take a closer look. So taking a close-up look, let me just tell you off the bat, it doesn't really actually transform. It's, if you look at the bottom, it's pretty much all the spare pieces of the joints and everything like that you just have to put to the side. So the only thing that you could actually attach is pretty much the cannon that's necessary to put. It's not really well put, I find, so kind of loose, and it kind of stops the mobility of the head a bit. But besides that, you can actually move the mouth, which is still pretty cool. Wings could actually move, so there's actually a bit of articulation. For standing purposes, it's pretty sturdy to actually just be placed down, so it definitely won't move. I don't think you're going to do some crazy poses. There's actually some extra pieces and joints to actually peg in, so if you actually want to put them on a stand, you definitely can do so. But yeah, amazing detail. So it definitely looks amazing even in this color scheme of the Paladin mode. Now I think it's about time we actually transform him. And here is Imperialdramon in his Paladin mode, officially though, so he does look quite amazing. Now there is a few leftover accessories that you can actually use while he's in this mode, like his blaster, so we are going to get into that in a minute. But I definitely wanted to just check him out because everything about him just looks amazing, and especially there's tons of articulation that you could do, and the transformation is quite simple. It's pretty much just like swapping parts, so it's not really a full transformation. Maybe some difficulty in the arms, which we're going to get to if you're having a little bit of trouble, but besides that, it's a very easy transformation. Now let's check some articulation and a few accessories. Starting first, we have the Omnimon Blade, which is actually his official accessory, while the rest are pretty much just extra pieces that you can actually potentially build. Now, this thing actually looks amazing. It's quite big as well, and to actually put it in his hand is quite simple. We could actually just unpeg this or at the other end, so it has two ends to actually unpeg. This is a bit tighter, so probably the best approach. And if we take our Imperialdramon Paladin mode over here, you can see there's no articulation in the hand, so we could actually just slide it in like this, and he should be all set. So we just have to do this, and look at that. Now there is actually a ton of articulation in the arms, so if you actually want him holding it in a specific way, you definitely can. Now we're going to check the blaster. Now here is his photon blaster. Now let me tell you off the bat, this is not an official accessory. So this is the extra pieces that you can build, especially in the instructions. Now there's a few things you could do with this. So you could definitely import it to his forearms like this if you want, so you can actually leave it in. You could also do his famous blast. So what you're going to do is take these, stick them out, and you're going to have to rotate the arms over here. So once that's done, we are going to have to open the mouth over here all the way, and this is supposed to just slide in. Now it's kind of hard a bit, especially to do it on camera, but once you get it, or if you actually want to pose it like this as a display, you definitely can. It doesn't really sit too right in the mouth, so it's just pretty much there. So it doesn't really clip in, and that's pretty much it. So if you're actually displaying him like mid-air, you could actually do a pretty cool pose with it, but it's definitely a very cool accessory to actually build. Now let's check some articulation. So starting with articulation, we're going to start with the wings. Now the wings are quite big and they span out actually very fine. So especially if we're looking from the back. So if you have a small display case, that might be an issue because you definitely want to display it with full wings sticking out. It looks amazing. Only downside, outwards like this is perfect, but if you actually rotate it like this, a bit of the weight, it actually falls down, which is definitely a bummer. So you are a bit limited on how you're going to display the wings, but if you could spread it out forward, definitely looks amazing. Now the head definitely has tons of articulation, so you can pretty much move it however you want. You saw the mouth go open and close for the dragon over there. There is tons of joints and posability for the shoulders, so you're actually all set. The only downside is that it gets stuck a little bit, bringing it back, and also even though the arms look very nice and you can actually pose it however you want, the transformation is a bit difficulty. So you have to rotate it like this. Now, if you saw this piece, so for the transformation, you need to rotate it and then it's going to extend, which mine is pretty tight. So I've been having a little issue. So it extends here and then it's supposed to extend at the bottom over here, which is not going to be happening right now. So there we go. And then rotate it back. And that's what you pretty much need for the dragon arms. Now, like you just saw for the shoulders, it's supposed to attach over here. Now mine, I don't know why, but his left side of the arm is completely has so much issues. I don't know what's the reason for it. If it's just mine, maybe I didn't build it properly, but I've been having a lot of issue with this arm all the time, and especially for it's not really attaching for the shoulders, so it's very sensitive over there for the shoulders. So maybe yours not going to have this issue, but so far mine's been having a lot of problems with his left arm. Now we go to the race. There's definitely a lot of possibilities that you can move side to side, but also for the legs, there's extra joints at the bottom. So if you want to extend it even further, you definitely can. Now all the elbows and knees do have double joints. Now another thing to note is that there's actually a locking port over here that's supposed to help with the transformation. So you could definitely close it in, and that's supposed to be for the dragon. And then when you're doing the paladin mode, you extend and then you're supposed to close this. But the issue with mine is that it keeps popping out. So if I'm displaying it standing up, sometimes the leg would give in and it would shorten a lot. Besides that, there is definitely a few possibility for the toes. Now it's all on one joint for the claws, so you can't really separate it. But besides that, I displayed it and left it display in a specific pose, and it definitely stayed in that pose. There wasn't an issue like at all, but definitely an issue if you are posing it, moving it a lot. There's definitely going to be a few pieces falling off, so nothing really clips in that well, and there's actually a lot of pieces that tends to fall off. So you're definitely going to have to watch out when you're displaying it or actually even playing with it. Now I think it's about time we do some size comparison. Here he is next to the figurized Digimon or Gallantmon, whichever you prefer. Now you could tell that Imperialdramon is actually taller, not by that much, definitely by his head, but Digimon pretty much reaches to his chest. Here he is next to Imperialdramon, which once again he is taller, so it's actually a decent size figure that he is. And finally, here he is next to VaughnGear, which we all know is a tyrant, and there's not many Digimon model kit that actually surpasses the size of VaughnGear, so it's very rare. Who knows, maybe Bandai will make one definitely bigger. And that's it for our review. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. And if you want a sneak peek of future products we're planning to review here on the channel, you can follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.